For my Tanner Center project on Sense of Place, I decided to talk about the saying, bloom where you're planted. I've always had a little problem with this saying because I believe a change of condition is important to who you are. My project explores the idea that I haven't found my place yet and that is okay. I created a blog with a series of posts. The first post is titled Transplant. This post is all about being in school when I was younger. I started school in Sandy, but after first grade, my family decided to move to Harriman. I was so sad this happened, but my dad was willing to drive me to school every day so I could finish first grade there. I went to second and third grade at Harriman Elementary. It was hard for me to make friends. I was weird. I would take a rubber dodgeball around with me at recess and read people's fortunes. Everyone knew me as the fortune teller girl. At that point, I tested into an accelerated learning program at another school. My new teacher made fun of me in front of other people and made me feel dumb really quickly, making it even harder to make new friends. The second post is titled Out of Place and talks about my belonging in the LDS Church. Religion is all about finding a community, and it was always hard for me to find a community in church. I was raised in the church, but in middle school, my dad decided he didn't want anything to do with it anymore, and that threw my whole family for a loop. My siblings and I stopped attending for quite a while, but my mom kept going because this was her community. One of my friends at school begged me to attend a faith-based camp with her, and I fell in love with the church again. I found that this was something that was missing from my life, so I decided to go back to church. This didn't go as planned because while I was at church, leaders constantly asked me why my family members didn't come with me. This made me feel like a service project and someone who only led to something better. I never felt comfortable in church. It has gotten better since I moved away from home, and my family isn't something that follows me around anymore. But my journey still goes on as I try to find a sense of place in a church-based setting. The third post is titled Alienation and talks about how uncomfortable I felt in high school. I always loved singing, so choir seemed the best place for me, but I have always also felt that I needed to be the best of the best. So I decided to audition for the Sterling Scholar position for the vocalists. I worked very hard to get this spot. I created many music-based service projects totaling over 150 hours of service and served in leadership roles in my school and in the community, and took plenty of singing lessons, of course. When it came down to it, I was passed over because of my 3-point lower ACT score. This was devastating to me and made me analyze what I had been focused on for such a long time. To be totally honest, I sat on my couch for a few days and cried because this was something that I wanted so bad. I tried to talk to my choir teacher about it, but he only felt contempt for me. I was also involved in theater at the time and had just been cast in the lead role, and a few girls in the choir were very upset about this, so they told the choir teacher a few lies about me, and which only made him more upset. He called me into his office and ripped into me, telling me that I wasn't fulfilling my duties as a leader, and that I was whispering about him behind his back, and that I was bad-mouthing the pianist, and that because I had stopped wearing makeup, I looked miserable, and I was making the choir look bad. If I didn't fix these things right away, he was going to kick me out of the choir. I wasn't a quitter, so it was too late to leave. I went about making fake apologies for the things I didn't do, told the girls that lied about me that I would not be talked about so horribly, and survived the rest of the year. But music no longer felt like home to me. I understand that I sound whiny and sad, but in the second half of my blog, I discuss how I will find a sense of place and a new sense of belonging. The next post is titled Travel. Here is my favorite excerpt from that post. You know the feeling you get when you step off a plane? Part confusion from a new place, part sickness from being stuck in a confined space and new humidity tugging at your skin? I can tell you that that's the most crazy feeling, but it has to be my very favorite. I think it's a warning for adventure, for something new about to happen, uncertainty, and a chance to fall in love with an all-new place. This really sums it up for me. I think my sense of place might come from getting to know someone else's home. The next post is titled Cedar City, because how can a person not just love it here? I fell in love with Cedar City 4 years ago while I was at a high school Shakespeare competition. Just sitting on the campus felt right for me. I love the proximity to the national parks, I love the Shakespeare Festival, and I just love SUU. I also met Kelton here. I'm marrying Kelton tomorrow, so that's why I'm in recording form and not in person. I met Kelton last September, and we've been side by side ever since. I quickly had a gut feeling that he was someone I could trust, which was the number one reason why I fell in love with him so quickly. He is one of the reasons why I love SUU, and I continue to live in Cedar City. I feel safe and happy with him here. I also have one of the best jobs on campus. I work in the nest as an ace, which gives me the awesome opportunity to help other people feel safe here too. I sometimes think that it's a little ironic that that is my job, since I spent a pretty decent amount of my time feeling like I didn't belong. But I really think that it's come full circle. I get the chance to help other people feel at home, to try my very best to make sure that no student gets left behind, that they know there is someone to reach out to, or just be a friend when they need one. My second to last post is titled Work. It talks about the awesome opportunity that I had to serve an internship for the spring legislative session and how I loved every minute of it. Originally, I was terrified for the internship. I was so worried that I was inexperienced, that I wouldn't get along with my legislator, and that I would quickly get bored. But I learned that none of that was true. Maybe I was inexperienced, but the whole point was to learn. My legislator was the best. I had the chance to work with Senator Vickers. We're great friends now, and he is the perfect representation of a leader. And I never got bored. I loved the fast-paced environment and the feeling that I was doing work that really mattered. I'm studying political science now, knowing that this is somewhere where I belong. In my last post, I share my alternative to the bloom where you're planted. Remember, plants can't always bloom where they're planted, so you shouldn't be expected to. In order to grow, each plant needs unique conditions of soil, sunlight, and water. Each plant needs room to spread its roots and sprout. Humans are similar in this way to plants, but humans have an advantage. Humans can change their environment. So bloom where you're planted. Or don't. And it's okay if you can't. Cut your hair, rearrange your room, move across the country, seek closure, seek help, find what and where and how works for you. Bloom where you can thrive.